Hello and welcome to Polyglot Principles. My name is Modja, and in this video and in this channel I teach you how to learn a language like a genius by teaching you the principles of language learning. Welcome once again, and today the title of our video, what we're going to be talking about is why kids suck at languages. That's right, they suck. Alright, basically you've been exposed to this idea many times, I'm willing to guess, right? That we need to be like children, we need to become childlike. You need to, when you're learning a language especially, you need to learn a language like a child. Just follow the strategies that children follow. And this is what we should emulate, and this is our standard. But I question this idea. I question whether kids are really so good at language learning and whether we should actually set our standards to the same level as them. This is what this video is about. Now I do have a question for you here. I do have a question for you, and the question is, in your own opinion, are kids great language learners or not? Right? Let me know what you think below and give me some reasons. Yeah, take some time to do that. Just go in the comment section below and tell me whether you believe kids are great language learners or not. Why and why not, right? And then let's see if your reasons agree with my reasons, right? And throughout this video, I'm going to be sharing very important tips right through to the very end, right? Very important tips and ideas. So please don't, if you don't get to the end, you'll miss out on very important information. All right, let's dig in here, right? So, are kids great language learners? No, I disagree with that statement. I know it's what I've been taught. I always thought it was a good idea to be childlike, but no, right? You're an adult, and an adult is not a child, all right? So why am I saying this? Why am I saying kids are not great language learners? Let's start with the obvious kid, the baby. Do you want to emulate the baby when it comes to language learning? No, right? Why? How long does it take a baby who's born to learn how to say a single word? Like mama and papa, how long does that take? If the kid is a genius, a year and a half, 2 years maybe, 3 years maybe, right? When the kid says mama, it's amazing. But do you want to set that as your standard? Is it okay if you spend a year and a half and you still can't speak? Is that okay? Obviously not, right? Because as an adult, within 30 minutes, you can start saying something in any language. Right? This is one reason. So the baby is actually, starting from childhood, from the age when a kid is a baby, how long does it take them to be able to read in the language? Read texts, right? Complicated texts, be able to write complicated text. How long does it take a kid? Usually all the way through high school, right? So we're saying 13, 14 years. Do you want to spend 13 or 14 years learning how to read and write in a particular language? Right? Is that even a good idea? Is that even a good standard to take? No, that's a very low bar to set. It's okay when a child does it. Why? Because it's a child. When a child is born, the brain is not fully developed. Okay, the child's brain is not fully developed. The child doesn't even know his name, doesn't know any language, and doesn't even know what a language is. And the kid has a lot on his plate, trying to figure out everything that there is in the world, right? So it's okay that it would take the kid 15 years to learn a language, 14 years to learn to read, write, right? Read, write, speak, listen to a language properly, right? That's okay. Because he's a kid, his brain is not fully developed, he has a lot on his plate, he's still learning the basics of learning. It takes time, it's understandable. But see, it's shameful when you as an adult, right, now try to set standards, you set your standards so low to back when you were 7. That's not okay, because as an adult, you are capable of, within 2 months, 3 months, being able to speak in a language, right? Being able to speak, even discuss complicated topics, maybe with a bit of broken language, but able to discuss economics, you could speak about politics, you could speak about philosophy, you can speak about your deepest feelings. Within 2 to 3 months, that's enough time to do it, right? And that's a more reasonable bar than to set your bar to that of a child, a couple of years, right? This is one reason why it's a bit shameful and troublesome that as an adult, we're being encouraged, or you think it's a good idea to be trying to learn like a child, right? This is problematic. The child's pace is not a pace for an adult, you see. And here's another thing to recognize. As an adult, okay, everything you're able to, mentally speaking, all the things you're able to do mentally when you are 6 you're capable of doing them now, right? Whatever you're able to do in terms of language learning when you were 6, you can do it now, and you can do way more than that, right? So your brain is developed, you have more information, you already have another language that you've learned, you have all these skills, and instead of using them to set a more to set something more to learn first faster, to learn better, you're busy saying to yourself, oh no, I should be more like a child, right? This is really unacceptable. Okay, and then now here we've been talking about the baby, right? Okay, you might say, okay, fine, we shouldn't emulate the baby, but let's emulate the kid who's like 7 or 8. Perhaps you've had this experience. When a kid is 7 or 8, if let's say you move to a different country or to a place where a new language is spoken, within about maybe 2 to 3 weeks, I don't know, you might find that the kid is playing around with the other kids and speaking the language, right? So you think the kid is amazing, right? Again, this is something that you as an adult can do. Within 2 to 3 weeks, obviously you can, and think about the level of conversation that kids have at age 6 or 7. It's basic conversation. If you want to have these kinds of basic conversations, you can do it in a week and a half, right? It's remarkable that a kid is able to do it, given the fact that they have a lot on their plate. They don't have much experience in the world. They haven't learned the principles of language learning. It's okay. But for you, it's not remarkable, right? It's expected. It's expected that within 3 weeks of learning a language, you should be able to have basic conversations with the language, right? So it's what I'm saying is, please, it's not a good idea. I'm not a fan of this, setting the bar so low to the level of a child. All right. So that being said, right? Is there anything we can learn from children when it comes to language learning? Absolutely. There are certain things that kids do, right, that are correct to emulate. There's stuff you used to do as a kid that actually helped you to learn language, and you need to revert to those traits. For example, right, the kid is not a perfectionist. He's okay with making mistakes, right? Unless you really laugh at him or make fun of him, usually kids are okay with making mistakes. If they say something that's wrong, they're okay with saying it, right? They're not even interested in speaking perfectly. They're interested in passing their idea across. This is the principle of communication, right? When if you've listened to many of my videos, I usually encourage you to focus on communication, not speaking perfectly. The kid naturally does that, right? So this is something to emulate, right? This is something to emulate, absolutely. I'm not saying don't emulate the pace of a child or the strategies a child uses to learn a language, not so much. But in terms of attitudes, sure, right? You want to resort back to a bit of your childlike attitudes a bit when it comes to language learning. One of them is not being a perfectionist, absolutely. The other, not being a perfectionist, being okay with making mistakes. The other one is allowing yourself to be molded, humility, right? Usually when you tell a child this is wrong, the child accepts. But an adult, we have a bit of an ego. We think we know something. We are holding on to old knowledge. We're trying to, for example, translate the new language into the old language, which means we're trying to see our old language, the new language, we're trying to make it fit into our old way of, our old framework, in our current language, right? That's a lack of humility. Instead of saying, look, I don't know, all these ways I've been communicating, I'm letting go of them. I'm making myself open to learning something new. This is something the kid does naturally, but as an adult, you've kind of lost this. No, you have the ability, but you've gotten yourself very confused. So this attitude should also be emulated, right? You wanna be humble and allow yourself to be molded. Allow yourself to think differently. Let go of your old ways of thinking. Absolutely. Right. This is all very useful information, right? And this is so connected to so many ideas. For example, it is believed that one of the reasons why as an adult is a bad language learner compared to a child is because an adult knows another language and the new language is interfering. Well, this is actually not. Knowing another language makes it. If I know one language, it makes it easier for me to learn another language. If you know English, it's easier for you to learn another language. because you're not starting from scratch, right? You know what you have the basic idea of the concept of language. You know what words, you know what a word is, and so on, right? And then what you just have to do is to have the correct attitude, right? You can actually make it so that your one language is not interfering with another, right? That is possible. You can allow yourself to think purely and speak purely in one language, right? So it's like this is really funny, right? When your capabilities and knowledge are enhanced, your performance should be enhanced, right? It's very problematic when capabilities increase and your performance goes down, right? This is not it's not normal. This is a deficiency, right? When you were a kid, you knew no language, right? And you learned languages and accents well to a level that you find is remarkable. Great. Now your capacities have been increased. Your brain is more developed. Okay. You have learned more words. You now know a language well. Why the heck should your performance go down when you're learning another language? That is totally unacceptable, right? Right. So it's just a matter of learning. Instead of wishing that you were a child, instead of wishing that you didn't have, you didn't already know another language, instead of wishing that you weren't as developed as you are now as an adult, instead try to figure out how to use your extra capabilities to learn a language better than you used to learn it, right? You don't want to spend 12, 13, 14 years learning a language when you could do it in 6 months, 5 months, 4 months, a year, all right? So this is really what I wanted to talk about today. Thank you very much for watching this video, right? If you liked what I was talking about, don't forget to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification, ding, 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 ding. That way you'll be notified whenever I publish a new video. Actually, every Monday at 8 a.m. Central African Time, I publish a new video that's designed specifically to help you to learn a language like a genius by teaching you the principles of language learning. Thank you very much once again and hope to catch you on the next video. Bye.